Powerboss has been successfully installed in literally thousands of applications around the world, saving industry millions of dollars in wasted energy. It has proved beyond doubt its capability as an effective and reliable energy saver. Powerboss is the culmination of over 10 years intensive research into motor efficiency. The wide range of Powerboss units are suitable for many single and three-phase applications right up to 600 kilowatts. Powerboss can also be custom designed and built for any application, including chassis mount units for installing as an integral component by original equipment manufacturers. So just how does the Powerboss work? AC induction motors have no way of intelligently adjusting the amount of electricity they draw in relation to the job of work they do. And in reality, full load is only required for very limited periods of time. Motors are actually sized and specifically designed into applications to tolerate load conditions that they will only very rarely, if ever, actually experience. But they still continue to draw excess energy, which is then converted to other forms of waste, namely heat, vibration and noise. And this has a very negative effect on the motor, reducing the life of the motor and increasing maintenance costs. This picture, taken by a thermal imaging camera, shows a series of typical motors which are running needlessly hot because of wasted energy. Interestingly, for every 10 degrees you overheat a motor above its normal operating temperature, you can halve its life. However, the second motor in this line has been fitted with Powerboss. Notice how the heat generated by this motor is minimal compared with the others. In practice, it's only slightly above the ambient temperature. This is a graphic illustration of how Powerboss is able to save money by reducing the energy used. Although the basic AC induction motor has changed very little since its inception, it has now become the world's largest consumer of electricity, much of which is sadly wasted. At the beginning of the last century, when the motor was invented, these inefficiencies mattered little. But today, with greater demand and significantly increased costs, it matters a great deal. In this simple test, a clamp-on current transformer connected to this true RMS meter is measuring the current consumed by this lightly loaded single-phase motor. When Powerboss is interfaced with an AC induction motor, it initially characterizes the motor during a learning cycle and remembers the maximum operating parameters. This information is then used to continually monitor efficiency and ensure the power is matched exactly to the varying load, no more and no less. In this example, the current is reduced from nearly 2.5 amps to 0.8 without slowing the motor down. Powerboss provides intelligent control for all AC induction motors. You'll be able to use this simple demonstration case to illustrate to your clients just how effective Powerboss can be. In the case, we have two meters measuring two different parameters. We have an ammeter measuring current and a voltmeter measuring volts in terms of the output. We've got a two-position switch where we can switch Powerboss in and out of circuit and get a direct comparison on this motor both with and without Powerboss. The motor is a fairly typical single-phase motor, the sort that you find in all sorts of different types of applications. And we have a brake fitted to it so we can apply a load and see how Powerboss dynamically responds to the changing demand. Let's just turn the motor on. This motor, according to the plate, is designed to draw 4 amps under full load. And here we've got no load at all applied to the motor, and the current is nearly 4 amps. As we apply a load to the motor, you'll notice from the meters there's almost no change in the current drawn. Surely this motor must be wasting huge amounts of energy. I'll put Powerboss in circuit and see whether we can make a saving. The first thing Powerboss does is to characterize the motor. It goes through a learning cycle which takes about 10 seconds. Just watch what happens. You'll see Powerboss ramps down the current and volts to the motor. It's got the information it needs and it now uses that to make some calculations. It will now look to get a saving out of the motor without slowing it down. So we're taking the current from nearly 4 amps to just 1. That's a staggering result. And bear in mind, we haven't slowed the motor down. That's a 4-pole motor on a 50-cycle supply. The speed isn't going to change. It's still turning at 1500 RPM. Notice the sound reduction as well. That's because the energy that was being drawn is no longer being converted to waste. Again, watch now how Powerboss responds to the changing demand on the motor. See when I apply the load. Immediately, Powerboss responds, giving the motor exactly what it needs to do the job of work at any instant in time. It literally takes 1/100th of a second for Powerboss to respond to the changes in demand within the motor. If necessary, it can give full power to the motor literally in 1/100th of a second. But it always goes for the cherry, getting maximum savings at every opportunity. In this case, the results are really quite staggering. Same motor, same power supply, but a dramatic reduction in the energy consumed. This demonstration case, along with the promotional video and quality brochures, are powerful sales aids. The demonstration case enables a salesperson to actually demonstrate the product's ability to dynamically reduce the amount of current drawn by an induction motor simply by plugging a motor in. The case for installing Powerboss is very logical and appealing, and in essence will cost the client nothing. From the very first moment it's installed, Powerboss will be paying for itself entirely out of the savings it generates, cutting costs and increasing profits. When offered to the customer on a lease rental facility, there is no capital outlay, and the quarterly payments are always a fraction of the projected savings. In many instances, savings have been as high as 30, even 40%. However, results will vary depending on several factors, but even a smaller saving will still provide your client with a 100% guaranteed return on investment. Substantial reductions in kilowatt hours, as well as improvements in power factor and improved reliability, have combined to guarantee customer satisfaction with a speedy payback, normally less than 2 years, providing an extremely attractive financial proposition. Dillons, a well-respected retailer in the United Kingdom, has over 700 shops throughout the group. Initially, they carried out an evaluation test in conjunction with an accredited group of independent energy consultants into the use and efficacy of the single-phase Powerboss on their refrigeration equipment. Initially, 1 shop was installed, and after attractive energy savings were metered on each unit, a pilot was carried out on a further 10 shops, enabling electricity bills to be compared with previous periods. Following a successful installation, a rollout programme was agreed, resulting in over 4,000 units being installed on equipment throughout the group.
We found after the pilot that there was quite a significant saving available, and we've now installed over 4,000 units throughout the business. We're very pleased with the results, and it has proved to be a very reliable and sensible installation for the business as a whole.
Numerous other customers have testified from first-hand experience the benefits of Powerboss.
Which proved both reliable and a good energy-saving device. The Powerboss system is running currently reliably with no problems so far, and our expected payback period for it is under a year.
We've also fitted Powerboss system onto our 4 main compressors, and that is actually some good results. We've made a saving of 22% with a payback period in 9 months.
It's nice to find something these days which actually reduces my costs rather than increases them. Since we've had the Powerboss unit installed, it's done just that. Brought down my electricity costs and also cut down the noise factor of these chillers behind the bar.
Well, as a result of the 14% saving and the return of less than 2 years on that particular installation, we've allowed in the budget for several other pieces of plant to introduce Powerboss.
We were very keen here at the hospital to assess the product. It was decided to fit it to an 18 kilowatt motor, which starts 140 times a day. This has proved to give us a saving, despite the harsh conditions that we are carrying out the test under.
Well, what we've obviously, after we've now fitted them to the compressors, we've decided to go into the press shop and start fitting them on the large power presses. The first one is being done in approximately 2 weeks' time.
Total Refrigeration has a commitment to environmental issues, including energy conservation. We have trialled many devices over the past few years, and to date the most effective has been the Somar Powerboss unit. In practical tests carried out in our workshops, we have found savings in excess of 20% to be achievable in most instances.
We have only just begun to open up the marketplace following the completion of the full range of Powerboss units. Everybody wants to save money, and the interest that is being generated is phenomenal, but the product still needs to be presented in a professional way. Amongst our existing distributors, success is already being achieved across many market sectors. All Powerboss distributors have the opportunity to build a secure, long-term business which is enjoyable, personally satisfying and highly profitable, at the same time providing viable and economical solutions, proving that commercial considerations need not cost the earth.